Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Excalibur Roundtable Tech Talk Extended Series. I'm joined today by Tom Petley from Halo. Tom, thank you for joining me today.
Hi, Mike. Thanks for having me.
It's always fun to get together and talk Halo. So many great things are always happening at Halo. So many great things we can do with Halo. One of the things we've been talking a little bit about is Halo, while it's called Halo ITSM, it's really enterprise service management in the way that the platform's been structured. Anything you need to track or do can be done in Halo. And one of the areas that comes up quite frequently is HR service management, and especially around onboarding and offboarding of employees, because there are the IT elements that have to happen there, but there are other things that have to happen when you look at that, as well as other things that can be done from really just helping to HR manage their workflow. So talk to us a little bit about like what you guys are doing with Halo and HRSM.
Yeah, so HR, we always talk about enterprise service management, and HR is the most natural kind of feeding on from IT. It's one that there's quite a lot of kind of interaction between IT and HR, especially around, like you said, the onboarding process and just assigning different tasks and different requests to different departments. So I thought I'd show you a few things about how Halo is a kind of a tool for that. And there's quite a lot to show you. So I'm not going to show you kind of go into too much detail around different areas, but I just want to show you some of the high level areas. So one of the big ones is the structure of how the permissions work and the roles work. A lot of people get scared about kind of having different departments, kind of HR data in the IT system, that kind of conversation. And the way we do it is we keep the data completely siloed between the two different departments. So if I was to go into this organization, I'll show you here, we just have this structure. And underneath here, you'll see how the organizational structure works in Halo. This isn't meant to represent the actual organization or structure of an organization, but it's purely a kind of visualization of the permissions and the roles within Halo. So you'll see here we have the IT department with the teams beneath it. And underneath that, this is one completely kind of siloed area. And the other one here is the HR one here. So again, completely siloed areas of data. So multiple departments can use the same tool without having to see any of each other's data, having access to data. But by using one tool, you get to share some of the areas as well. So you get to share some of the configuration. So you don't have to, I don't know, resynchronize kind of users from AD and that kind of stuff. You get to share some of that configuration areas. You also get to share a portal, a self-service portal. You also get to share, kind of be able to create tasks for different departments and use kind of a single onboarding process, for example. So by having these different areas here, so we've got HR, IT, we would just correspond them to areas here, so IT and HR. So if someone in IT was logging in, they wouldn't see any of the HR, and vice versa. If HR was logging in, they wouldn't see any of the IT. So that's a very high level example there. And then the other thing I wanted to show you today is just on the self-service side of things. So if we are using Halo in a kind of enterprise service management capacity, we can have a single portal where they can view their tickets from IT, from HR, facilities, whatever tickets it might be. They can view them all in one place. But we can also go to the service catalog and have each of our different service catalogs for each of the different departments. So if I was to go into IT, you'd see all our standard hardware, software type service requests. I can also go into HR and I can see our kind of HR service requests. And all of these, it's just all configurable. We've got some really nice examples out of the box, but not everyone's HR service management is the same. So obviously, it's very easy to create and import different services as well. So we'll just briefly show you, just quickly raise one, and it takes you to a form. I'll just put example in here. And all this is going to do is, in this case, is just submit that, and that's just going to drop into our HR area here. And you'll see we've got a couple in here, and we've just got this example one I just created here. So really, really straightforward. They can then route through to the relevant teams, and within here, as I said before, you can do tasks as well. So if, for example, in this one, you might want to create a task, and then for IT, for example, I could go and create that task in here. And vice versa, if IT needs to create an HR task, they could go and create one for HR. So really, really configurable, really completely siloed areas of data, and it's just get that real benefit from having the kind of multiple departments in a single tool. Kind of some of those areas I mentioned around configuration and self-service portal, also that training element and that knowledge sharing. It's all in one platform, so you don't need to kind of scale up on multiple systems, and it's just all in one place for you.
Well, and ease of administration. Your administrators are only administering a single platform, and all of the things are going to work the same way. And so really it's taking process, breaking it down, and how do we need that process to work for the particular use case. It doesn't matter what group or department that it applies to. It's one of the great things about the way Halo's been structured. And while we saw in your example, IT, HR, and facilities, Halo could be extended out to any department that could leverage the power of the system. One of the things we talk about a lot with customers, having been doing this for a few decades, is almost every department has what IT really considers a request management process. Many times, departments say HR probably doesn't really have what we would think of as an incident management process by definition, where something is broken per se, but there would be requests. I need to change my last name because I just was married, or employee transfers, or a retirement account request. I've completed my my required intro time, and I want to get information on joining the retirement program. Things like that that are requests that HR gets, and so often we see for excuse me, it could be HR or facilities or the marketing department, where we take our requests in a shared mailbox and we try to manage it in a shared mailbox. And you can take Halo and really just give them the ability to better manage those requests. And then with the portal, people can make the requests in a more fulfilling way. And what we see so often, we want to manage it by email. One of the things you lose is that opportunity as an organization to build fidelity and clarity into the requests. Well, I'm requesting this, and you think about in an HR department, folks specialize in what they do. Not everybody in the whole department deals with medical benefits or deals with the retirement program. There are specialists that handle those things because they're complicated and very diverse. If all you need is the enrollment forms, well, almost anybody can help you, right? I can send you over the paperwork electronically. But if you have questions, you need to talk to one of the specialists who has the answers to those questions. And what's funny is that's no different than we deal with in IT, right? We have escalation teams, right? And we have teams that are specialized in certain things. Not everybody is an expert in the accounting platform, or our document management system. There are specialists in that. And so it really is no different. It's just taking that process and then applying it to what their workflows are. And that's one of the things that we think is wonderful about the Halo platform is, number one of the unique capabilities we have is to actually take, say, the request management process and replicate it for another department and leverage things that are already built. We don't have to rebuild things from scratch. We can repurpose things that are there, do them differently for that department. Maybe we don't need SLAs for that department. We can turn SLAs off, right? But maybe a department. I'm sorry.
That's quite a common one, actually. The SLAs.
Yeah. Well, in some departments, when you look at it, they leverage the SLAs really to be able to give them a metric as to how long does it take us to complete certain request types.
Almost like an internal reporting rather than anything.
Exactly. And so, but the ability to do that and quickly help a department stand up and leverage a powerful platform like Halo to really manage their work. Because what we see so often, what we've seen over the years, is when a department is brought into your enterprise service management platform, what starts to happen is things that used to slip through the cracks don't slip through the cracks anymore. And the other story that we've really told is we've all dealt with the pandemic now going on the first decade. It just seems like forever. It's never going to end. But for so many organizations, people are now working from home. And now, in our current state, this will kind of date this video. Omicron is running, crazy all over the place. And so a lot of businesses have decided not to bring people back, or have shifted from it. They have started bringing people back, pushing people back to home. Some areas of the world have gone into lockdowns or partial lockdowns. And one of the things we saw for a lot of our organizations, those that had transitioned some of their departments, they really didn't lose a step, because they had, now when you're managing it via email, it started to get kind of messy. And another thing that we saw organizations being able to do is when you have folks that are spread out across the country for a larger organization, so they're in multiple time zones, the ability to hand off work to another group in a earlier time zone that can carry on finishing up what may be done. And we saw that where we brought administrative groups at law firms and other organizations into the ESM platform. There are, document put together things that need to be done. I'm oversimplifying that. By my friends in the legal world that are out there, there's things that they need to do, and they were able to be working on it here in the U.S. on the East Coast, and hand off to a group that's in Central, hand off to a group that's in the Pacific time, to get that body of work completed in a single day. But they were able to, and then you can go back and audit that and say, okay, who all worked on this?
I was going to add that one of the big things if you move away from emails is that ability to report on everything, and you can actually start to, firstly, audit is one thing. You get a full audit trail of it all, but also just look where you can make improvements and enhancements to the process, and actually kind of gain those efficiencies. You might find you're doing, I don't know, the same thing over and over again, and you can create a knowledge-based article or something to
well, and that's probably a good thing when we talk about HRSM. They can have their own knowledge as well.
Oh, absolutely,
and that can be very helpful. We've seen for some of our organizations that maybe do acquisitions. They acquire, they're doing a couple acquisitions a year. One of the things one of our organizations did was built part of their knowledge base for folks that were new in the acquisition and coming on to the new companies, and it answered a lot of the FAQs, which meant there were no requests for information going to HR, right? You had that, you really got to that zero ticket panacea, where you had that zero touch. They were able to get the answers to their questions, or in many cases, the FAQ had, here's the documents you need to fill out.
Yeah, and if you're working from emails, you just don't have that. You don't have that ability to do that. You might have some templates and things you've saved and things like that you kind of know you have to reuse, but just it still takes a lot of time to.
It does, and you bring it into a system, and as you said, you can continue to evolve the processes to really be efficient, because the ultimate goal, and for all of us in all departments, is helping our customer. And our customers are most happy when, one, possibly there's a knowledge-based article that answers my question, or gives me access to the information that I need. When I need help, I can get help efficiently, and then from a back-end perspective, we're able to now track all of that, what's happened, who asked for what, who worked on it, all of the detail.
That's the thing. It might be like a really quick solution, but if you've got a backlog and it takes you a week to get to that email, then it's that week that the customer has to be waiting, and that's not the experience that we all want to offer. So.
Exactly. Exciting stuff. The things that you can do with HaloITSM. Tom, thank you for joining me today. Thanks for the chat. For everyone that's watching, reach out to Excalibur. We'd love to show you the power of HaloITSM. We can get Tom involved and dive even deeper into the little wetting of your whistle he gave you of some of the things that come out of the box to help your HR team be very efficient. We'll see you all soon.